Uh, hey guys, thank you for joining us with another episode of YOML, A Year of Magical Learning. We are actually on book 178, Reflection 178, I should say. And I guess this is one is more, it's taken from a business world and kind of take it and see what we can learn and put it to use in our company mindset.
Yeah, so actually, this book is kind of an outlier in this whole journey. And there's a reason for that, actually. So, the book that we're going to be talking about today is Venture Deals Be Smarter Than Your Lawyer and Venture Capitalist by the authors Brad Feld and Jason Mendelson. So, the reflection title of this one is Think Again, Take a Second Look at Your Dreams. If you don't know what it's about, have you ever heard of this book? You remember Amanda did this book, actually?
Yes, I actually
Yeah,
read it because she did this book as part of her core values quest.
right.
The third month, like she chooses this
Yeah.
book, and so I've took a look at it and I read it.
Nice. Oh, so you did okay. You've read this one. All right. So the book is about breaking down venture capital, like how it works, terms, the terminology, how VCs see the world, how their businesses operate, like what's important to them, what's not important to them. It's just really kind of a venture capital for dummies, kind of book. And this is kind of, I would say, like the Bible from what I know and what I've researched of breaking down the venture capital world. Anybody, if you ever go try to ask, like, hey, how do I understand this world? Most people will refer you to this book and they'll say this is a really good book to really kind of break it down for you to help you get your mind around what this world's all about, the venture capital world. So the funny thing is about this particular book, this is a book that was between two worlds for me. I actually read this one in the hospital with Amelia, and my favorite place in the little purple chair next to her isolette. This is back when I had different dreams. When Amelia was still alive, before Amelia was born, we've talked about this, right? Like one of my personal dreams was always imagining myself as starting my own business someday, starting my own technology company and getting it funded and playing a major part in the growth. And I had been working on a project really hard. And I'd spent like $100,000 of my own money at that point in time and had a partner. We had to go to market launch. Like I was busting my ass on a lot of this stuff and, had applied for like different kind of accelerators and those kind of like Y Combinator programs and things like that. And this is the world that I was studying. This is why I listen to How I Built This every single day. On the way to
Right.
work. This was my dream. Before I met Amelia, and so when I was in the hospital with her, just trying to keep my before the year of magical learning began, after she passed away. Like there's two phases of this whole journey. There's before Amelia, there's with Amelia, and then there's after Amelia. During the time with Amelia, really all I was focused on was keeping myself balanced in the hospital and trying to be there and show up for her every single day. So to do
Right.
that, I was trying to keep myself healthy, trying to get sleep, trying to keep my mind engaged. And I was reading books like this and things like that. And I was writing and journaling to her. That was my plan while I was in the hospital, to try to make sure that, because it was stressful as hell, and watching her go through what she was going through and being there during COVID and all the stuff that was going on, like it was just my way of kind of keeping my mind in line. And this is when I was reading this book. So I'm just giving you the context of my mindset of why I picked this book, right? So the year of magical learning, quote unquote, really hadn't begun yet. It had, but it hadn't. I didn't know it, but it had. Well, as you know, I didn't start writing for magical learning until about a year and a half later from this point after finishing this book. So this was me in revisionist history with the first 100 or 150 books or so that I read, writing back in time and placing this book with a different lens on it.
Right.
And understanding, this is after Amelia had passed away and all this other stuff, right? So with that context set here, I finished this book. And I think this was like the second book that I read in the NICU, and everything was going okay about this time. This was still my dream. This is still my reality. And then, as we talked about, the atomic blast of Amelia passing away, it just blew everything up. I mean that literally. Like it mind wiped. Like, I mean, everything that I cared about before just did not exist. This book actually infuriates me today. Like, I mean, to be honest with you, and we'll get to that as to why. But and not because like there's something bad about it. It was just that was a different paradigm. That was a different person. That was a different Chris before this whole journey, before meeting you, before doing all the stuff that we've done, before all the other things that have happened in the past 3 years of my life, where it's been really focused on living for two with my daughter, being purpose driven and focusing on my values and following Amelia's tracks, and things like that. Like this was following other people's tracks. I'm on a completely different path at this point in time in my life. And I couldn't be happier at this, just on the path that Amelia and I are on. I don't love that she's not here. I hate it. It hurts my soul every single day. This is what we have, and this is the world that we've made of it, right? And reimagined our life. That's the book I wrote. The funny thing is about this book, though, thinking back on it retroactively, what I found really cool about it was the elaborate rules and procedures. If you have to read this book and you're like, man, this is like listening to the Lord of the Rings or something like that. These people invented their own world. They invented the rules of the game. Whenever a complication came up, they just kept adding more complexity to it, more cap tables and more lawyer talk and different rules. Here's how you operate the business and here's how you do this. So much so, they had to write a fucking book for it, right? Like, I mean, to understand this world, all it is people lending money to try to make a return. Like, but they put this elaborate rules around Series A and Series B and Series C, and when do you do this and when do you do that, and how do you get an angel investor, and how do you structure your cap tables and all this other crap. And you're like this is pretty complex. They turned this pretty simple concept into this incredibly complex thing because they knew this is how we are rethinking financing. This is how we're rethinking building the world that we want to build, and to say this isn't about just profits and profitability. This is about investing in people and investing in projects and investing in ideas and seeing what happens. So much so that you get to the world today that we have, people celebrate more about fundraising than they celebrate being profitable or actually solving a customer's problem. They're like, so-and-so raised $25 million. Like, yay, you got somebody to pay you money to keep working on your project. It's not, we solved problems or we made profits. No, it's like we raised more money, and like that's what we celebrate. This is the world that they've created, right? And it's spawned a whole generation of entrepreneurs and Y Combinators and accelerators and all these other programs. Like, good for them. Like, I mean, I'm really proud of the venture capital world for creating what it created. However, it's still a gatekeeper world, right? And it's still a world that's controlled by a few people telling other people, I don't know if your idea is good enough. I think that, I think that it's not. So I'm not gonna, help you out here or something along those lines. It's no different than Hollywood, in 1930s or something like that, where they focused on the hits, right? And they think that they were hit makers, but really there's a billion ideas out there in this world, right? And there's a million ideas of how to turn it into a commerce operation. So you and I have come together with the mission, and that's why the reflection title is, take a second look at your dreams. So as this journey's been going on, I took a second look back at what I was doing before Amelia, and I was like, I don't want that world, but how can we reimagine this whole entire thing? And that's what you and I have been reimagining for the past 3 years of how can we start a business without ever taking a single dollar from an investor and start with culture as the strategy and grow that into something completely different. It's not much different than the VC world of what we're trying to do with Clubany. It's just that we're trying to start with culture first and let people beaver on purpose, right? And see what happens. We're not going to tell them what to do. We're just going to say beaver on purpose, beaver away, and see what happens. But let's focus on our values, focus on your values, focus on the collective values of the hive, if you will, and let you go be a beaver or a monkey or whatever you want to call it inside the hive and make magic happen and let the serendipity happen, right? So that was the lesson that I took away from this book, is it was a way for me to say, from where I was to where we are today, it's a different paradigm view on, it's a similar concept. We still want to build businesses and be creative and innovate and do all this other stuff, but we don't want to do it with that model. We want to make our own model. And hopefully someday, this is the dream, and 40 years from now, people will be writing books about how the club elaborate ecosystem works. And they're like, well, if you want to be really good in the Clubany ecosystem, this is what you got to do. You got to really blah, 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 blah. And here's all the jargons that they use, and beaver on purpose, this is what it means. And I mean, somebody else's, the Brad Felds and the Jason Mendelsons of the world are Clubany people. And they're explaining how, all these people that are like, I want to be in Clubany. I want to do this stuff. And they're writing books about that. That's the dream now, right? So anyway, I'd love to get your thoughts.
Yeah, so for me, I think that I don't think I like the book either. It's not to say that it has no value. I just think based on what I know, yeah, it turns a value to people who are looking for it. But as a member and this perspective from a company aspect, right? I think this book, in a way, it's not the right way. And for me, I think it's well, not really, because what I'm saying is one of the lessons that we learn as a company member is we don't know shit, right? And they don't know shit either.
No,
I guess because the fact that these VC, right, they probably got right 1 out of 20 deals they fund.
If they're lucky, yeah.
Right? And so you look at, for example, when WhatsApp tried to sell itself to Facebook, it's the same thing with Instagram, or, you're talking about Yahoo, right? Google was offered to Yahoo to buy for $1 million. Yahoo refused, right? So what I'm saying is, these are venture world as well. And the thing is, we don't know what's going to be the future, and they don't know either. And the problem I see with a lot of these things is let's say there's 1,000 VCs, right? 1,000 VCs, and probably among the 1,000, one or two will become like, hey, I'm successful, and then the 999 other ones becomes absolutely no one hears about them, but only the one that made it got a story, and everybody thinks,
sure.
hey, the VC world is this way, because the thing is, whoever didn't make it, like if you think about it, 1 out of 1,000, are you really good or just statistic?
It's the same stuff.
No, it's just it's statistic, meaning that out of 1,000 VC, well, if you and I were to flip a coin, we could play a game. One of us is going to get it right because there are so many. One or two of us is going to get it right. But the thing is, the problem is the media. They spin it in a way that, hey, VC does this, and they're right. And then the one that didn't make it. So I'll give you one example, okay? Let's say I go and I watch, like, an example. I don't know where it came from, but it's basically, let's say I get like 1,000 people, right? I have an address of 1,000 people. I send them a letter. Say, hey, let's say basketball game or whatever, or some football game. One team's gonna win, right? I write 500 of them. Say, hey, this team's gonna win. Team A is gonna win, and I write 500 to the other half of the 1,000. The other team's gonna win, right? So when the two teams play, right, one of them's gonna win. Therefore, the people who got the letter, when the team wins, hey, this guy's pretty good. So the next game, I write those 500 that got the letter that I was predicted to be right. They're gonna say, okay, and I send 250. Let's say the next Sunday we'll do another game, right? So I will write another similar, like, hey, this team A is gonna win to 250. Team B is gonna win to 250. So the thing is, the people who got the 250, right? The first time they got my first letter, hey, I got it right. The second time I got it right, and the third time, let's say I do it the third time, right? They're going. Let's say I say, hey, go into my blog, and it's going to cost you like $9.95 to get the next team. Let's say I do it third week. They're going to pay me for that. So they think I know how to predict anything just because I use that tactic on them. But in reality, is I don't know shit, because the 751 that didn't make it, right? I didn't tell them. They weren't in the equation. This is one of the issues that Nasir Taleb brought up in his book, right?
I was about ready to bring up the expert. Don't trust the expert ever.
But so that's what I'm saying is the 750 that I wrote was wrong, right? It wasn't counted in the formula of, hey, this guy is pretty good at predicting who wins, right? Let's say I do the fourth one, the fifth one, right? I nailed down to like maybe 100, right? For let's say 100 or even 50 people, the guy, that means I have a streak of, like, let's say 5 or 6 streak that, hey, I predicted all correctly, and that means that out of 1,000, right, only 5% is correct, but 99.5% didn't count it. And that's the problem, is people get the skew outlook of the VC, and then what happens is that these venture, quote unquote, got it, like in the 1%, they got it. They tells you, hey, your idea wasn't good. And then everybody is trying to morph the way they operate, the way they build their startups, according to this.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody got lucky.
Got lucky, and they tell you how to do it. So for me, when I see like these VC books, these how I build this, whatever, I see that's bullshit. That's bullshit, because the thing is, they're telling you that this is how I built it. This is the key to make it successful. But your success wasn't because you were any good, because you don't know shit, and I don't know shit. They don't know shit either. It's just by happenstance that they got it correctly, right? It's by chance they got it correctly. People don't look at the failures. They look at the success. And the success becomes, hey, I will tell you the formula. And to me, this is where the entrepreneur gets skilled. And that basically, like, it's the opposite of what we do as company. Because the thing is, you are doing things that is not going to work. And second, it's not what you really want. You're not doing, you are a beaver, for example, and you're trying to do something else.
Well, you need to go raise money to go.
That's what I'm saying. They say this is how you build this is how you build your startup. Is you got to go out there and do VC. It's like you telling me, quote unquote, as a beaver,
I just want to
go out there and do something else that's not me. And to me, that distracts people from the real beavering on purpose concept that we are continuing to talk about throughout these episodes.
Yeah, a VC is fundamentally limited by their monetary capacity to invest into a project. I get why they have to put some parameters and think that they're an expert and say, this is why we're going to pick this winner or not pick this winner or go with this project or not, because they're limited by finance and they have to make a return for their investors. That's how this whole model is funded, right? What we're trying to say is, like, we don't really care if you make money or don't make money. We just want you to beaver on purpose, and the byproduct of what you produce out of that.
That's my point. My point with this thing is that we don't know what's going to happen today.
We have
tomorrow,
no idea.
And no one does. My point is no one does, right? No one knows what future holds. And that's what I'm going to say in terms of, if you're watching this and you want to build something, right? You don't know, so don't listen to them. So what I'm saying is, on the company concept, you have to do whatever you want to do. That is you. If you are a beaver, right, you're gonna have more chance of success by building them, because you have the faculty that lends itself to doing that particular activity.
You'll endure.
Right? Like I told you, if you're a beaver, you have the trait of a waterproof pelt.
Right.
You can swim, you can stay in the water all day long, right? If you take a fox and put it in the water for like an hour, he's going to freeze to death. He can't do it, right? So what I'm saying is, no one knows, so don't go and chase these quote-unquote method of success, because no one has it. If they tell you to have it, or for whatever reason you think they have this, did the con where I pick 1,000 people and I just send them letters every week predicting the winners of the outcome of a football game, right? If I do that 1,000 times and every time I split it in half, right? By the 10th time, right, I'm down to like 50 people, even 10 people. I have a 10 streak of correct prediction. You think I'm a fucking genius, but I'm actually a con. And that's also the problem, is the media takes these ventures, right? VC that being successful by accident, right? Because it's statistic. You have one of them is gonna hit, right? When it hit, right, you take that as, hey, this is the fucking Bible of VCs or entrepreneurship,
it's
or
Elon
whatever
Musk,
it is.
it's Jeff Bezos. They get these names. It's Andreessen Horowitz. It's all these people that are incredibly talented.
The danger to that, and is the reason why I'm so passionate about this, is the danger to that is you left your post as a beaver and you stop damning. You're doing the foxy thing, you're doing the woofy thing, or you're doing the raccoon thing, whatever, right? It's not what you're not doing, because you were told this is what you need to do to become this.
Right.
But in reality, there is completely BS, because I just told you the example of, I took the lesson from lab, right? Because you're talking about, like, a guy looks like, hey, this guy is a very, very good predicting, who wins at the football games. You can do the same thing with money in stocks market. Let's say stock. Hey, tomorrow stocks can go up, stocks can go down, right? You can do that for anything, right? Because the people who I send a letter to, and I got it wrong, they say this third way, and this guy's no good. But the guy who got it again and again and again, it just basically mathematics. It just filters through. Has nothing to do with whether I knew my shit or not.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. So there's a book that I've been trying to get you to read. It's called The Long Tail by Chris Sanderson. Have you read it yet? Did you end up taking a look? The long tail is the best way to describe it. You have a fat head, and then it's a statistical curve, and then the tail never drops to zero. There's always demand for something out there, right? There's always something for everyone, as long as you're able to make it available, curate that, and make sure that they can get to it. Meaning, like, in Hollywood back in the day, you would take a screenwriter or a play or whatever it is, and they would go, it was the same model as the VCs. We're like, we've been making movies a long time, man, and we know what's going to be a hit and what's not. So hard to break through because there was people that were blocking that. But we all knew that there was great writers out there. There was great actors out there. There was content that people wanted to consume. Well, then eventually comes along the internet, comes Netflix, comes all the content wars that are going on now. You can find anything for damn near everybody at this point in time. And there's always going to be somebody that's going to watch the Great British Baking Show or some bullshit. Like, if you would have brought that to network TV and were like, hey, I'm going to show the Great British Baking Show. And they'd be like, what the no, I'm not investing my budget in my limited time in my production studios for the Great British Baking Show. We got to have hits on Thursday night at 8 o'clock during prime time. The whole point of the long tail is that you see it fall in every industry, whether it's music, Amazon with books and all the other stuff they offer, whether you see it with entertainment. There's some content for some. There's what we're talking about right now resonates with somebody out there. We just have to have a channel to be able to get it to them and make sure that that channel is curated and they can filter and find this content, right? It'll resonate with somebody. And that's the point. But if somebody was listening to what we were saying, if we went to a VC and said, we want to build a business that we don't ever hold anybody accountable and let them do whatever they want to do, and there's no, like, we have no idea if anything's going to be successful or not, we just want to invest and give them money and let them go do what they want to go do, they'd be like, that's fucking stupid. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not giving you money to go do that. They're going to be like, that's insane. The VCs are the fat head. Like the old model of old Hollywood or the music industry where they would decide if you're a good artist or not. But we all know there's a million artists out there that are generating content on YouTube, Spotify, and all these things that people want to listen to. That is the long tail of all those other spaces. This is the long tail of entrepreneurship is what we're trying to focus in on. Everybody deserves a right to be creative. Everybody deserves a right to beaver on purpose. Everybody deserves
everybody deserves to be who they are. And for company is to help you become be who you are. If you're a beaver, then you want to be beavering, right?
Right.
If you're a foxing, you be foxing. Whatever it is that you are, right? You need to find who you are. And that's why I think for the reflection, right? You're talking about think again, right? Take a second look at your dreams, because is it yours or is someone else? And that's important, because you can't be looking at somebody's success and say, okay, I want that, right? But the thing is, well, are they the same as you? They got that, but at the same time, maybe, like I say, for example, for me, I mean, I think having money like Elon is nice, but I would not be him by taking his money and his responsibility. Because people think like, hey, I like Elon because no, you like Elon for his money because you want one of the aspect of
you
his
like the
life.
outcomes. Yeah,
but if you think about it, if you have to become Elon, you don't want to be him.
I don't want to be him.
Because the thing is, for him,
sleeps to the office until his kids.
Well, he is who he is, right? And that's fine because he's made that way. I'm not made that way. I want peace and quiet, right? So for me to become Elon, to trade my life to become him, I would not trade my life to become him because
that would kill you.
That's not who I am. Because yes, I like money, but I would not trade my peace and quiet for these. I mean, people talk about him like everywhere. I mean, not like all over the world. They talk about him and they piss on him or whatever. Some people like him, some people hate him, right? Yes, but he has the ability or whatever, his DNA or his trait. Yeah. He wanted that. Right. And he can handle that. For me, is I just want to be left alone, be at peace, do what I want to do it whenever I want to do it. Yes, like I said, money is nice, but I wouldn't trade it. That's what I'm saying is you have to know who you are, because let's say you look at somebody's success and say, hey, I want that success. But you have to take a look again. The success you want, is that correlates to who you are? Right. If it doesn't,
does it align with your values?
I guarantee you're going to regret pursuing that and sacrificing who you are.
Every one of those How I Built This podcast I listened to, almost every single one of them that took VC money, they say they regret it immediately. They're like, they destroyed my dream. I was beavering and I was having fun. And then I took on, I remember somebody, I can't remember who described it like this, but they were like, it's like you're driving a car and, you're having a blast. You're going the speed you want to go and you're going the direction you want to go. And then you bring on a VC or some other kind of backer. And then they're like, hey, look, they take the car, they throw you into the back seat and they're like, we're driving you where you want to go. You either can stay in the car, but you're no longer at the wheel. You no longer control where you are going. The creativity, the things that gave you that feeling of purpose and alignment with what you were doing gets just destroyed. Then it's just, how can I make return for somebody else?
It's like, and then they take control of the
car.
I mean, whatever you've built thus far, they say, hey, that's useless.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the most devastating
there to make money.
Thing anyone can say to somebody.
They're artists. Like, they're telling an artist.
If I were to build something, right, and you tell me that thing is useless and you destroy it, basically you crush my spirit.
Yeah.
And so that's what VC does. They say, well, you made it thus far, right, but I'm going to change it. I'm going to change everything. And so that basically discouraged all of the founders. I mean, I don't think any startup has ever say, okay, well, I love the way the VC does it, and the reason, and to me, I think they know, the founders. They say, well, I'm going to get out and
How else
I'm
am I
going
going
to
to
do
get
what I
there?
want.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to take the money and go do the thing I want to do. That's the thing is, that's something that people don't understand and don't know from the outsider, right? Insider, they have done these deals because they say, well, if I were to give away the stuff, whatever that I built so far, it's devastating to me. I don't want to stay. Most of the founders don't stay. They
They
don't.
hate it. They watch their art get destroyed. It's like if we gave Clubany to somebody that didn't understand Clubany and wanted to steer it in a completely different direction for profit only, it would kill me. And it would probably kill you to watch whatever this becomes someday. All the conversations we've had, all the purpose-driven values, activities that we've done, the seventh generation committee meetings, the vision behind it, all the studying, all the learning, all the collaboration, all the art that you bring in just gets shit on.
Exactly. If you're telling me today, you come company, hey, I'll give you $1 million. I'll buy company from you
I don't
too.
want it.
But this is the sad part, right? The sad part is I'm gonna redo your core values. Balance isn't what we do. Beavering isn't what we do. And so for me, it's like no.
Right.
To me that's devastating because
It's
you are
stupid.
telling me to accept something that I have over the past 2.5 years ingrained in my mind as the foundations of who
It's
I
who you
am.
are. Right.
Not only that it is the company, but who I am.
Right.
I have been indoctrinated in terms of these foundations. Like for me is I don't run for train. To me, I have lived that ever since I've learned about that from the City Lab. I don't run for train. And so it has completely changed the way I look at things and it have completely changed my mindset, and that mindset creates this peace in my head. Like I say, things changing all the time in the world, right? But for me, if I don't run for train, I mean, I don't think my life is less chaotic or more chaotic than before. I just feel like I don't, I just don't process it the same way.
Right.
And so for me, it's like I'm like whatever happens, okay, I'm at peace with myself because of that particular concept. And if you tell me that, you buy something from me and this is the way company works, and you telling me, hey, you stay on for 3 years to teach the new people to come in, and you telling me to tell them, hey, don't be a beaver. I can't do it. I can't tell another person what I don't believe.
They take
Right? Let's say I
cultures.
was to train another, like let's say they buy the company, they buy the organization, they buy this tribe, and they bring in people for us to train. Let's say you have your employees, right? And
Right.
they say, well, instead of you training what you believe, you need to train what I will give you. Don't be, you have to
Like, we don't do that
be
here.
like everybody else, right?
Right.
And you expect me as one of the founder to train on something that is different from what I believe to the new guy. I just
Integrity is
can't
one
do
of
it.
our core values. We're not gonna lie.
Exactly.
Not
It
gonna
just
lie to somebody. Like, do you remember Max Yoder's book from
uh-huh.
it's called Do Better Work? My friend April that worked at that company, we talked about her a lot and how much she loved the culture that Max built. Max successfully was a VC backed company. Max was an incredible cultural leader, built something amazing there, like just something amazing. They bought his culture and they sucked it into this other entity. My friend that got sucked into that, lost her culture, but she was like, I'll give it a shot. Here we are. It's 1 year later. And she just texted me the other day, like, I can't fucking stay in this place. I got to get out of here. She was like, I hate it. I hate it. I hate everything about it. I don't want to be here. That's the VC world at work. Max Yoder brought his art to the table, and he built a culture of people that would still be working together for on any. I don't care if that project was done. Maybe Lessonly was done, but they would still that core group would have taken those same values and they could have pivoted and done anything, and they could have done, and they could have kept growing, and they could have kept doing whatever they wanted to do. But no, you got at some point in time,
and that's
the Reaper comes
that's a
calling.
danger.
Like, we need
That's
our
a
money.
danger of having VC because for one
Right.
is they don't know shit, and second is they fuck it up. The thing is like Lessonly was the success story. The reason why Lessonly was a success story was because of the culture. So that means that hey, if Lessonly has become successful and has become valuable, right? That means that if I leave the culture alone, I can create another 100 Lessonly.
Exactly.
But no,
you go in there
and you fucked it up so that hey, Lessonly is a one trick pony. That's what I'm saying. It makes no sense from the
stupid.
perspective,
They could have gotten so much more out of it.
You bought this mold, like you build this widget, right? You bought this mold, and then you fucked up the mold, so you can't build the widget anymore. The widget that the mold, like you. So Lessonly is the product, right? The culture is the mold. So the mold makes Lessonly. Lessonly become a product. People love it.
Right.
So the thing is, if you're a business person, the smart thing to do is use a fucking same model and put another product out. Why
exactly,
do you destroy the mold and you build something that no one wants and it hasn't been validated and proven in the market?
Right.
That's what gets me. It's like you telling me the best practice is to go into the company, fuck up their culture, fuck up the way they operate, right? Because you somehow was successful in terms of like out of 100 of the funding that you did, right? 1 on 20 makes it because it's a, let's say 19 flops. The one that made it was like completely stellar, right? That kind of like, it covers for the losses, and then you got media coverage. And then you tell people you're a fucking genius. Right. And then you tell people how to do it, and then you go and then you fuck that. And so for me, you look at it if you simplify the concept a little bit, and you look at, hey, if Lessonly was a product and it was successful, what made it successful? It's the mold.
People. It was
the
always
mold.
The people.
The mold is the culture.
The
culture, right? The culture. The people is part of the culture. It's part of the mold. So don't fuck up the mold. Just use the mold to build new products. You can have 100.
You could do that in
product like Lessonly that would have been proven. You can do 1,000, right?
Right.
You can do.
It might take another 10 years.
Have kind of like stumble and fiddle around with company for 2.5 years. At the same time, you have to understand that we have taken the core values quest and we have refined it, fine-tuned it to the point where you and I can take people through the core values quest and tell them, okay, read this.
This is what it is.
Do this. And like, it's shortened. It's not going to be like 2 years. It's going to be, hey, 3 months, 6 months. If you want to build a culture similar to what we built at company.
I've already done it with my team.
My point is you are doing it, right? It's not like you say, hey, I got to do that again. And it's not going to take you another 2.5 years to build your team, another 10 years. Right. Because you have the model. Right?
And Max Yoder knows what he's doing too, but and that's the problem is Max Yoder will never
doing. His people know what they're doing. Right. So for them to build another product, whether it's Lessonly or something completely different, I don't think it matters.
No, it doesn't. Except for their team has now been spread out all over the place.
But I'm saying is, if the VC have left the mold alone, the model alone, it would have taken them long to say, hey, so just take Lessonly and give it to another team to operate and say, hey, Max Yoder and your team, I want you to build me a new product. I want you to build me a new product. All right. The other team, the Lessonly is great. I'm going to take it and give it to somebody who operate. Hey, you operate. Right. I want these guys, because these guys have built something great. They already knew each other. They work well with each other. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses. That's the culture. That's the mode. All you have to do is say, hey, look, you do exactly what you need to do for Lessonly, but I want you to build me a new product.
Instead, they blow it up. They continue to blow it up.
And then now you're losing good people, right?
Yep.
April, Max Yoder, all these people they are disenchanted and they are completely disengaged with they're not motivated to do anything.
Right. Yeah.
And to them, they're suffering. To the point where you say, hey, I can't take it anymore.
You blew up their dam and you shipped them off to Antarctica or something like that. You're like, what the fuck? Yes, I can go rebuild a dam somewhere, but now I got to go start all the way from scratch again. Like we already had. We know how to build dams, and you just took my whole.
That's the thing is you have to understand, like, if you want a dam built, right, go to the beaver,
right.
So you don't ask like, hey, rabbit, go build me a dam. So that's what I'm saying is the VC, your job is to fund good companies. Don't fuck it up. You don't run companies. VC don't run companies, and VC need to stop running companies. The way that CVC does it, and this is like almost like 90 to 100% of the time, when they buy a VC, they brought in a CFO. They put a CFO on the team, and then the board they will put board members on the board, right? And they start controlling the operation. They tell you what to do. What I'm saying is,
they jump in the driver's seat of the car and they throw you in the back.
My point is, you are a fucking VC, right? You have money. That's great, right? You want to help these people grow,
stay out
feed them, right? But stay out of it. Don't like I say. if you need a dam built, don't go ask a rabbit to build it.
Right.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is are you, quote unquote, the VC? Is your job is to build startups?
No.
No, your job is to invest in startups.
Right,
Why are you trying to run it?
They should invest in every startup, in my opinion. Anybody that comes to them with an idea, I'd be like, here you go, try it. Give them a small amount of money. I don't care. But the point is, if that's your goal, one of those is going to hit it. Let's just call a spade here. When there's no way in hell, like let's just say we started off with Sportly back when we first started off, and we still had the same mission, but we started off with that product in mind. And let's just say we went and got financial backing. Like that product fizzled out, right? We've tried multiple other projects since then. Like it doesn't matter. But here's the key: is you and I are still together. We're not like none of those projects had anything to do with the culture that we're trying to build and the long-term vision that we're trying to create here. Like if I was a VC and had invested into you and I, there's no way that you and I would still be a partnership at this point in time because we produced nothing and we've gained nothing. We're not even on a path to somewhere where they can see the future. I mean, you
look at Slack.
Right. That's
like Slack. It's like you're not investing in the product. You're investing in a fucking team.
Guess who just left? By the way, the CEO, Stuart Butterfield, just left Salesforce.
People don't leave because you fucked up the culture. They don't leave. They don't stay. They leave, right? And
he didn't want to be there.
And the second thing is like you look at Slack, right? Slack, it wasn't a intended product.
No,
it wasn't. Most of the product was by accident.
Right.
So that means that you don't invest as a VC. You don't invest in a product. You invest in a team. So like you and I, we're talking about, no, you invest in True and Chris.
Right.
We build something else.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
That's exactly what you do. If you're a VC, you invest in the person, like, and you invest in the culture that they're trying to create. You don't invest in an idea or a product. Like that is, it's worthless. Like,
and the thing is, the moment you change the culture, right, the team is no longer the same team. So you're making a cardinal mistake, right? Yes, like you went on the news and you have reputation thus far. It's not because you're a fucking genius, right? You're lucky.
Right.
It's statistic, right? I mean, everybody, like, there are some fans of Nassim Nicholas Taleb, right? There are some haters, right? But he have a good point. We're talking about, hey, if you have like 1,000 people and you just split them up, this guy gonna seem genius to the small percent of the people that got the right letter, right? For in that sequence. If you do that, those people can look at you, hey, you're a fucking oracle.
Right.
But no one talks about the other 99.95% of the people. That's my point, is the media only look at the success one. Success one is not because you're smart or genius. And I'm not saying I am either, because I don't know shit.
We're saying the opposite of a genius. We're saying that we don't know anything.
And I'm also telling you, right, and the audience, that no one does.
They may think they do, but they don't.
No one does. No one
They may
does.
think they do. They may think they do.
They're delusional.
Right.
Because the thing is, you don't know if you're going to live tomorrow. So how can you know that, hey, I'm going to make this money or whatever? You don't know. You're guessing, right? Yeah, whatever, that there's a chance, but no one knows. No one knows for sure.
Straight up, I mean, I can't remember how many books that I've read at this point in time where, like, Thinking Fast and Slow, like The Expert Bias, like, or Nassim Taleb's books or something like that. Well, it doesn't matter. Like, literally, you could almost put a monkey that just randomly picks things against somebody that's a quote unquote expert, and they often have a better success rate than the expert.
I think they did an experiment with that particular scenario in stocks. Yeah, they have a monkey picking stocks and have an expert picking stocks. That monkey beats them.
Yeah, the experts, like, are there. Like, there's so many
biased
reasons why.
In terms of what they think they know, right? And so and the market isn't kind, and so they continue to double down on the negatives, and they end up, worse than a monkey.
The only thing
at the wall.
The only thing you could ever be an expert in my personal opinion, I think there are experts in chess and
but there's no kind of environment that is pertaining to life.
Exactly. Like, there is no kind of business environment where you can.
Life isn't kind, right? So,
it's a wicked environment.
To me, there are no kind environment. And if you're telling me that chess is kind of environment, it's because we made it up.
Are the only ones that I think you
can invent it, and we make up the rules, and we say you have to abide by the rules. Like, why can't I mean, what's to prevent a king from going to the other side of the country, the side of the board, right?
Right.
Why can't he do the
Why
same
can't it be
move
like
as the
sunshine,
knight?
like paper, rock, scissors, sunshine? Like it burns everything. You're like, no, you can't do that.
The
like
thing is,
there
we
are
constrain
experts in kind
ourselves
environments. Yeah.
to create this quote unquote kind environment. It's a pseudo kind environment because you limit yourself.
Right.
But the thing is, there's no such thing as a kind environment.
That's what this book is trying to do. This book is trying to make it a kinder environment to invest
But
in
it
VCs.
isn't.
And it's not. It's a wicked environment. It will never be. No one knows what's going to be the winner. No one knows what's going to be the next Slack or whatever else out there.
Most of the discoveries and inventions is always really by accident, right?
It's loose shots.
And it's one of those things that you can be close to the discovery by doing more of the thing you should be doing. Then your chance of discovering increases, but it's still a chance, but the chance increases, right? So that is the wicked environment that we're talking about. So you have to understand that I'm not advocating to be, hey, put your hands in the wind, in the sand and do nothing and just, hey, it's by luck, right? I'm telling you,
it could actually happen that way.
But it is like 1 in a million, or 1 in a trillion, or 1 in a gazillion, or whatever. I mean, there is a chance that you stick your head in the sand. But what's the chance of you are the one that stick your head in the sand and become successful?
Probably not very good. But it's not even about being successful. It's about also being happy. Like, I don't know if you're happy just sitting there motionless with your head in the sand. Like, that's against the entire journey that we've been on. Like, that's the whole point, is we keep moving forward.
To me, go back to what I said before, is as a human being, not even human being, but as a I don't know, don't kill me for this, but I'm just saying is, I don't know enough, but I'm saying is any entity, whether it's an animal or plant, has a certain characteristic, a certain DNA set, the genes and characteristics that need to manifest. When you manifest that, right, then your life will become completely fulfilled. Like I said, the word is difficult to get across it because it's not completely correlated to what we mean. But like I say, if you have a wheelchair, why would you walk? Right? Because you have the physical faculty, the strength of your legs. You want to walk, you want to run. That's what I'm saying is you want to manifest who you are. Right. If you're beaver, you don't want to go dig holes. You don't dig holes. You don't go and howl the moon. Right? What you build dams. Beaver must dam, right? And so that's what I'm saying is, whatever you are, you have to be that person. The aspect of the skew, I guess, view that people kind of portray in the media for you to look at is a distraction, and it's a danger. It's a danger to you missing the point. You're gonna miss a point.
Exactly.
When you miss a point, right, you don't get to express who you are. You're gonna be like a donkey in a shed. You're gonna be running uphill. You're gonna be beavering, doing who knows what, and you get yourself smashed to smithereens, and that's a danger, right? It distracts you from who you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to be doing. And so what we want to do from a clubber's perspective is, you got to look at yourself, think again, and look at what your dreams are, meaning who you're supposed to be, who you're supposed to manifest. Right?
You'll find
that's clue. That's what I'm saying is, we don't know the destination, but we know, the footprint, the next footprint, right? Just follow the footprint.
Exactly. Yep. 100%. I think that's a good spot to end on this one. This is a touchy topic that you and I have been talking about for years now. We are in 100% in alignment that there is a better way forward to focus on the long tail of people living their purpose versus the fat head of people saying this is a hit and this isn't. Be creative.
No one has ever produced a hit because they wanted a hit.
Right. Stay out of the way. Stay the hell out of the way of everybody else. So the question we can leave with you all is, what would happen if you used your imagination to reframe and re-engineer an answer to your dreams? Just because I didn't want to do the VC model anymore did not mean that I wanted to stop creating. I want to be like crystal clear about this. The dream never stopped. I just reframed it with what Amelia taught me and what you and I have been focused on, which is beavering on purpose, which is living your values every single day and focusing on your mission. So
you have to understand
who you are. And curious. Right.
You understand who you are.
Do it your own way. Find your own
right?
path.
You find VC comes to you and they say, "Hey, I'm going to change your culture." You know right away to say yes or no.
Wouldn't even they will. This is the fallacy of like
But the
they're
thing is
like
that you know what you need to do. You know what decision to make when a VC comes to you.
it's it's like I just finished The Godfather this week. And it's like Don Corleone, the Vito Corleone, where he'll give you a favor, but one day he's gonna ask you for something in return. Like it is implicit. Like they may say, hey, you can do whatever you want to do. You can have your culture, you can have whatever framework you want to have. But someday I'm gonna call on that favor, and that favor is I'm gonna sell your culture and I'm gonna make money off of that. Like that, I don't know when it's gonna be. And I'm going to tell you, you can do whatever you want to. If I'm a good VC, like I'm going to tell you, you can do whatever you want to do and try to have success or not. We are saying, well, if you find your purpose and you're beavering on purpose, keep the beavering for as long as you possibly can while you're in this world. And we will never touch that. We will continue to support that with every resource that we can throw at that. Don't ever, ever, ever stop beavering is the point.
Right. Because at the end of the day, right, at the end of your life, you say, well, I wish I have another million.
I wish I had another day to do what I love to do.
The only thing that to me on my deathbed is I didn't have as much regrets. That's the question that you have to answer for yourself. Did I have a lot of regrets? It's not about, oh, did I work an extra hour? Did I make an extra million? Did I watch an extra Netflix series? It's not, those questions don't matter at the end of the day.
I agree.
Right? You think about it, okay? Did I have a lot of regrets? Did I have a good life? Did I enjoy the things I do? Because to me, that's my perspective. It's like, okay, I wish I created like 10 companies. Do you think anyone on a deathbed in the last minute of their life on earth is going to once wish to have an extra million, billion, trillion of dollars?
No. Like
the only thing, hey, I live a life to my fullest. I didn't have a lot of regrets. To me, having a lot of regret isn't about how making money. Is did I try it? Did I experience something? Right? Did I do it? That to me is the essence of the last day on earth. To me, like, what's the point? What's the point of living if you are supposed to be a battery in a matrix?
There's no point. Like it sucks. That's the worst thing you could do. I mean, for all the faults that Vito Corleone had, when he died, he said life is beautiful, because it's true. I mean, like I want to go back and look and say, you know what, I honored the promise of my daughter, and life was beautiful. I mean, it was fun. Every day was like, and like, hey, I regret not being able to do it tomorrow, but like at the same time, I don't regret any of the other days that I've lived. Like that's what I
don't think for me it's about the achievement. It's about the attempt.
Yeah, exactly. It's having fun. It's just enjoying what you're doing every day. Like, I mean, it's enjoying these conversations. It's enjoying, like, I don't want to take that away from anybody.
And that's the quest of Clubbing, is to help you, guide you, to ask yourself, to find who you are, and to live who you are on purpose. We're not asking you to be us. We're not asking you to take on the core values of this and that and the other. We're asking you, what is your core values? Do you know? Can you tell me, what is it that makes you get up in the morning? I'm asking you, what the framework, the core values framework asks you individually, what makes you the person that you are, and that when you leave this world, that you have the least regrets.
Agree. Yeah. I mean, that's the mission. I mean, we'll see how it goes. Stay tuned. Awesome. Well, all right. That's a good cutoff point for tonight. Thanks for everyone for joining. And yeah, we will see you all tomorrow for book 179.
See ya. Good night.